You're listening to Love, Life and Liquor, a Drankin Partners podcast. If you like beer, food, sex, and talking about badass kids, then this is the podcast you've been waiting for. Now, here are your peoples, Mareshah and Dom.
Hey, it's your Drinking Partners, and we are back again for another episode.
Yay.
So we've been summering this summer.
Mm-hmm.
We've been traveling.
We've
been doing all the summer things with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
What for you so far has been the highlight of our summer?
Summer's been pretty good. We went to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a chance to go to Disney for the little girl's birthday. I had the opportunity to, hang out in the Princess Tiana suite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was nice.
So of course, she loved that, and being able to, see your children extra happy when they go see Mickey is always an experience. And then the last trip that we took, we got a chance to go back home, man, to DC. So it was great. Unique experience to see the culmination of all the hard work that, my father put in during his military career, where the Air Force actually named a building after the man.
Shout out to Pop Pop.
Yeah, man. So, that was pretty cool. He was an instrumental part of the Honor Guard, the Air Force Honor Guard, and they decided to honor the man and name a whole building after the dude. So it's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? You go out there and you stand in front of the building, and it don't have no cheap letters. Like, there was big gold letters.
Yeah, them good gold letters.
You know what I mean? So you look kind of fresh to stand in front of the building and see that Pops paved the way for a pretty strong legacy. So just be able to have our children there and my siblings there, and all of us there to witness that was pretty dope.
I agree. No pressure on the legacy front.
I'm good. I don't have to do shit now. Like, he already locked it down for the next two generations.
Oh, there you go. Also, we got to see, which was not as exciting, but still fun, my family while we were up there. Just visiting with family. But it was a good time because I have two nieces and a nephew that I had not met just because of us being in the military and my brother being in the military. We just hadn't been able to get the families together. So that was really nice to be able to see them and the kids to see the cousins. Like, they are obsessed with cousins. So they love doing all the cousin things.
Right. And that's always, man, that's a good thing, just for the fact, like you said, they are obsessed with cousins, and the fact that they got to meet all this extended family is always great, considering that we're separated by state. So I guess we just got to do that more, get out and, hang out with our family. So shout out to fam.
So we are just going to get right into it.
You're an asshole. Asshole.
We've talked about it before. I love reading these AITAs on the internet. Am I the a-holes?
Yeah.
And I think we have some good ones.
Okay.
The first one is, am I the a-hole for not allowing my parents to sleep in the same bed? Strange question, right? It starts off, it says, I think you know where this is going, but there's no definitive answer on who's in the wrong.
Okay.
Also, for simplicity's sake, I'll be saying parents, but it's my mother and stepfather. My mother and stepdad have been together since I was little. So I'm a 25-year-old woman with two older siblings, both male. When we were growing up, we were never allowed girlfriends or boyfriends to spend the night, which I felt was fair enough. When my brothers got about 16, however, their girlfriends were allowed to spend the night, but they had to sleep in a spare bedroom. Again, fair. That makes sense to me. I was always somewhat of a tomboy, so as you can imagine, teen boys didn't show much interest in me romantically, so I didn't get my first boyfriend until I was already 18. My parents wouldn't allow him to spend the night at all, despite both of us being over 18. I wouldn't have minded if my brothers had been held to the same standard, but I felt as if they were favored over me. It isn't even because they disliked my boyfriend at the time, however. Everyone seemed to love him. So there's a bunch more that we don't really need to get into. But so cut to however many years after 18 is 25. She's engaged, okay? So her and her fiance, they live together in a house. And her parents are coming to do all the wedding things. My parents arrived and we spent the first day going out to dinner. I'd like to point out that the two aren't married and are steadfast that they won't be getting married again. Both of them are divorced already, my stepdad twice. So as the night was slowing down, they asked to be shown to their room. I directed my mother to one guest room and my stepfather to another. My mother said that there was plenty of room in one of them for both of them and instructed my stepdad to come with her. I explained that, just like she told me, it was my house and I didn't want them sharing a bed in my house. I basically repeated word for word what she would tell me when I'd complain about my brothers getting better treatment than me when it came to their partner. I told her that actually, they were in the same position I was in because neither of us were married. She tried saying it was different because they had been together for almost 20 years. I told them it didn't matter because this is my house and my decision is final, just like how my mother would shut down any discussions about it back then. They stayed the night and left home the next day, which I preferred because I was happy wedding planning on my own and haven't heard from them since. So I'm wondering, am I in the wrong? Am I the a-hole?
This shit is corny. Like, this girl is holding a grudge because her parents treated her a certain way when she was younger. First of all, like, that's bugged out, the fact that she had two brothers who were allowed to have girlfriends sleep over at 16. But if we're gonna fast forward, she's a jerk. She's a jerk.
She's an a-hole.
She's just trying to, prove a point or whatever. Like, yeah, she's an a-hole, man. That shit is corny. Like, those are some old folks. They've been together for 20 plus years, and now she just wants to try to, enforce some weak standards. I would have packed up my shit and been like, you know what? I'm gonna head home or I'm gonna head to a hotel, whatever. Like, I don't have time for you to play fake parental games with me. I'm not doing that.
Well, that's what they did. They packed up their stuff and they went home.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. That's corny.
It is, but I feel like because her parents were so adamant about, like, you're not married.
Yeah.
But they're not married. Yeah, so I feel like it's hypocritical.
But they were married. They were married for a long ass time.
Not to each other.
How long were they married?
Wait, they're not married to each other. They were never married to each other.
Did I miss that part?
So they are boyfriend and girlfriend for 20 plus years.
First of all, when you're grown as hell, you ain't nobody's boyfriend or girlfriend.
They're lovers for 20 plus years.
That's a long ass time.
But they're not married. So for them to be so adamant about you being married before you stay together in a room, I feel like that's a bit hypocritical.
That's semantics. When you're old like they are, we all know that some people just don't get married. But
why are they such sticklers for marriage then? That's what I'm saying. It doesn't. If you're such a stickler for marriage.
Okay, well that's a different thing then. Like you're saying, like, they should value marriage or whatever, get married so you don't have to do that. Then that's one thing. But the fact that they was together for 20 plus years or whatever, like they was damn near married.
But they're not. So here's my thing. If it's for religious reasons and you're saying you shouldn't be having sex outside of marriage, okay. But why is it okay for y'all to have sex outside of marriage for the last 20 plus years? Unless y'all are just not having sex in a relationship, which I find that hard to believe over the last 20 years. So
we're going to compare some old ass people to some folks, to some young kids.
I mean,
like, just like throw all the shit away about the boys. That was like out of control. I don't even know why they did that, but maybe they realized they made a mistake. Boom, we made a mistake. Now we're going to, right the wrongs. So don't compare yourself to your brothers, because we all know that shit was outlandish. What we allowed them to do was absolutely ridiculous. So now I know it seems like, we're being hypocritical, but we're going to try to hold you to a standard. I just think they were trying to, right their wrongs, but she was being a big lame for you can't sleep in the room and they're like 72 years old.
I don't think they're that old.
I don't think they're that old either, but at the same time, like, come on.
I say she's half the a-hole. Sometimes you are. So agree to disagree on that one. We're both house divided.
Yeah, she's a complete asshole and a lame and a jerk. Trifecta.
The next one. My girlfriend and I live in New York City, and there's a popular app where you buy leftover restaurant food. Restaurants advertise surprise bags at a reduced price in order to reduce food waste. The customer doesn't know what they're getting until they pick up the food, but the cost at least 3 times lower than the normal menu price. These are hit and miss. Sometimes you get exactly what you want at a greatly reduced price, but sometimes you get something that you otherwise wouldn't have picked from the menu. I ordered a surprise bag from a barbecue place that I was picking up on the way home yesterday. I texted my girlfriend asking if she wanted one, but she said no. She wasn't in the mood for barbecue. However, there was an Indian restaurant right next door that also had surprise bags available on the app, so she ordered one of them. When I get home, I unpacked the meals to see what we got. I was psyched about my bag. Since I paid $12, I knew the value had to be at least $36, but honestly, the platter looked a lot more expensive. Keep in mind that we live in the West Village, which is the most expensive neighborhood in the most expensive city in the U.S., so $36 for one meal is pretty typical.
Okay.
There were burnt ends, ribs, pulled pork, baked beans, potato salad, bread, onions, and pickles.
Jackpot.
My girlfriend, however, was less lucky. Her surprise bag only had 6 different types of soup, half of them being variations on cauliflower soup. She was disappointed, to say the least. She asked if we should share my bag or my barbecue, and I said, no, I'm hungry. I offered to buy you some already, and you said no, so I'm going to devour it. She got mad and called me the a-hole. I told her she didn't want soup, she should have ordered something specifically instead of using the surprise bag app. But in my defense, number 1, I offered to buy her barbecue to begin with, which she declined. Number 2, she picked out her own food and I grabbed it for her on the way home. Number 3, when she wasn't satisfied, I suggested 2 solutions, either ordering something from an app or going to the bodega. So, am I the a-hole?
He's a super asshole. This is crazy. First of all, I actually think that's pretty dope that they have these apps where do we have that?
I don't know, but I want to find out.
Where you can just go.
Surprise me. Because most of the time I don't know what I want anyway.
Yeah, but I'd be pretty pissed off if I got cauliflower soup, 6 of them.
Just throw some chicken in it.
He wasn't willing to give her no chicken. Second of all, yeah, he's a huge a-hole just for the fact that he wasn't willing to share the food with, like, the principality. Like, I asked you before, so I'm not gonna give you no food. Come on, man. I don't know how many times where every once in a while it takes an L and you don't like your food, and I give you like some of my food. That's what you're supposed to do if you're in a relationship with somebody. Why you want them to eat cauliflower soup? And she broke her leg, so she's supposed to go down to the bodega because you don't want to share your burnt ends and your pulled pork. That's foul.
Like, it sounds like he had a lot of food. Like, he probably couldn't even eat it all. So why not share it with her?
Why couldn't they just split the soup and the barbecue?
There you go, the third solution.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that would have just been real easy. But my man, he had a point to settle because y'all tend to be indecisive about what it is that y'all want to eat. But I don't like Indian food, so I wouldn't have went for that anyway. I could have opened it up and it would have been anything they would have had. I would have been upset about it. You can expect that man to be sleeping on the couch for a while.
See, I think it's interesting that you feel like he is the a-hole, because I thought you would empathize with him, because I'm always asking to taste your stuff when I could order my own, but I still just want to taste it.
That's different though. When we are already at home or we order like Uber Eats or something, and there's quite a few times where they showed up and the order's like always wrong. Then we just have to make do.
Put some sauce on it.
Yeah, put some sauce on it. Share some food. You have to make do and hit a remix and just keep it moving. But if we were at a restaurant, for you folks out there, Mareshah and her sister are big. What is the word? Like proponents towards sharing food, right? And I don't want to share when I'm at the restaurant because I'm like, I just want what I want. Like,
we're gonna get appetizer plates so that we can share, and you coordinate what you're gonna order.
Right.
So that
if I want fish, she's like, I want fish too though. So why don't you order this chicken so I can try the chicken? I will pay an extra $20 if you just want your own entree and you can have chicken and fish or whatever it is that you want. But there have been times where her sister is like, hey Dom, can I try that? And then there's this awkward silence because I'm like, no. And then she looks at Mareshah like, didn't you give this man the memo?
We've been together 13 years. He should know.
We gotta share this. We gotta share these plates. Like the last time we went out, it was a joke though when I said it. Everybody ordered their food. It came out. It was looking real good, and I killed mine. In like 10 minutes while everybody still had like a full plate of food. And she kind of looks over at me and she's like, did you eat it fast because you didn't want to share? And I was like, of course. And then it was just awkward silence again.
And he was serious.
But there have been times where like you want to try it, and then she's like, no. Like if I offer you my food, like go ahead and have some, because it's not gonna happen again for another year or two. So take advantage of that. I think that's most dudes. When you eat, you just want what you want. But in this instance, homegirl was gonna go hungry and he didn't want to share.
Yeah, I think you might gripe about it, be like, I asked you, but like, are you really gonna sit there and eat all that food in front of her, knowing she can't even get downstairs?
Some people's petty like that.
Well, they probably broke up. So. That's terrible. Normally, I like to verify things, but this isn't real news. So I was like, who really cares if it's true or not?
Yeah.
It's true enough. So I was listening to another podcast and they were talking about they just hit 1 million subscribers and like all these different things. And so then they were talking about other influencers and podcasters and stuff.
Yeah.
And who was the most popular.
Right.
So they were talking about who's the most followed person or account on Instagram. So I have this list that I got from Wikipedia. Is it true? Who knows? But we're gonna work with this right now. It's good enough for me. I feel like it's true enough.
So how many of these are you about to drop? Just give 10.
So okay, we'll do 10.
Yeah.
I will say out of the top 20 Instagram accounts in the world.
Yeah.
The world, Craig. I only follow 2. So I don't know what that says about me or what that says about the Instagram.
I mean, you're talking about the world, though. You know, before we were talking about it, I already knew off the top that it had to be some soccer players or whatever that were going to be on this list. At least some high-profile, athletes, considering the fact that, soccer is the biggest sport on the planet.
But I will say, out of the 20, only 5 are not U.S.-based celebrities.
Only 5 are not.
Are not. Whatever that percentage is.
All right.
I need my fingers to count. So how many of these do you follow out of the top 20? I know 1.
I follow not one. Not one.
Not number 11?
Well, just run down the top 15 then and see what you got going on.
Number 15, Taylor Swift.
Not chance in hell.
268 million subscribers.
But I get it though. You see how her concerts do.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Like they had a whole NPR podcast about how Taylor Swift, her concerts pretty much changed the game and how Ticketmaster sells tickets.
Yeah.
That's out of control. So yeah, I get it. 268 million followers. What's next?
Number 14, Nat Geo, 281 million.
I don't follow them, but
I do follow them.
That's but I typically follow, sites like this that, have lots of, photos, animals, things of that nature. I may go and check it out now. Okay.
But yeah, that's one of my 2. 293 million, Kendall Jenner.
No way.
Also with 293 million, Justin Bieber.
No way.
302 million, Nike. So I thought you would follow Nike.
I don't, just because that's more of like a corporate site. So most of the stuff that they have on there is like ads. But if you follow like some of the smaller ones or some of the sneaker influencers, which I follow a couple of those, then it's more personable, versus a whole bunch of ads and stuff.
So number 10 with 310 million, Khloe Kardashian.
Nah, there's no way in hell. So we're in the top 15. We're already 2 Kardashians deep.
Right.
Nah, I'm good. Next.
So in the top 20 are all the Kardashian sisters, Jenner sisters.
Nah.
We didn't go all the way to 20, but they're all in there. Number 9, which I follow, with 314 million subscribers, Beyonce.
That's interesting.
Number 8, Kim Kardashian with 362 million.
Both of them are boring though. Beyonce is super boring.
She is boring, but she's Beyonce, and I follow her because
she's Beyonce.
Right.
Got it.
She does have nice pictures. She doesn't do captions, and she doesn't post very often. Ariana Grande with 377 million.
I'm good.
Dwayne The Rock LeBron Johnson, as Olive says, with 387 million.
He's probably the most interesting out of all of them, just for the simple fact that he actually has a personality.
Yes.
Like you see this dude everywhere. I think I just saw him on SportsCenter the other day talking about XFL. Since he's one of the majority owners of the XFL, and he was talking about what was coming up. I think he had like some movies. I think Holmes has like does he have a liquor, a tequila or something like that?
Yes, a tequila, an energy drink. The taco truck he has here in San Antonio. Remember?
He has a taco truck here?
Well, remember the taco truck came here like last summer or spring?
No.
Yeah, he's everywhere. He's doing everything.
So, I mean, I can see that. Following dude is probably pretty wild, because plus he always has his family on there. So,
yeah.
Boom. Next.
With 397 million. And number 5, Kylie Jenner.
Yeah, I don't get it. But I'm not really her demographic, so.
Me neither.
Hey, what's going on? Sorry to interrupt the podcast, but since we are talking about followers, just wanted to say thank you, since we are rocking with a cool 160 y'all. Damn, stop it. How the hell we just lose 2 during the podcast? It's ridiculous. Do you know there's a damn cat with 379,000 followers? The cat wears a tutu and frolics around in the leaves. Come on, y'all. I know we're doper than that damn cat. Man, let me unfollow this stupid ass cat. Shout out to Princess Aurora. Anyway, tell your peoples about the drinking partners. Back to the show.
With 426 million, Selena Gomez.
Why?
Number 4.
Other than, I don't get it. But once again, like, I'm not her demographic. I guess, she was an artist for a while. And then she's on that the Hulu show.
Mm-hmm. Only Murders in the Building.
Only Murders. And that's actually a good show.
It is a good show.
I still don't see it, but
when you see her in relation to who's the top 3, yeah, I think that's pretty good for her.
That is extremely good for her.
Yeah, so.
Number 3.
With 480 million followers, Lionel Messi.
Oh, that makes sense, though.
And with 597 million followers, Cristiano Ronaldo.
I thought he was number 1 when you were talking about this list, but, both of those dudes back to back, like I said, football is the biggest sport in the world, and they are the biggest footballers, for Argentina and Portugal. So there it is right there. And then what's number 1?
And number 1, I was super shocked, but also with 649 million followers, Instagram.
Do we follow Instagram by default and it just doesn't show up that we follow Instagram?
I don't think so.
Or do you actually have to follow?
I think you actually have to follow it.
Oh, I don't follow Instagram.
It's not like Tom. Like, Tom was your friend no matter what.
I was talking about this. How many people actually follow Tom still? Because Tom is on Instagram.
I think Tom is a thing now, though.
Tom is a thing?
Yeah, like, Tom is an institution now. Yeah.
What made you bring up this list?
So I was listening to another podcast, and they were just celebrating they hit 1 million subscribers.
Got it.
And then they were talking about, like, once you hit 1 million. Fun fact, I didn't verify it. They said only 35 YouTube channels have over 1 million subscribers. There's like over however many million YouTube channels.
Yeah.
But there's only 35 that have over 1 million subscribers.
Oh, speaking of like Instagram and YouTube and all this other crazy stuff, the one chick that does all the gang, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Pinky Doll. Do y'all know who Pinky Doll is?
Yeah. I mean, just Google that.
What's an NFC? Non-player role? No, not NPR. NPC.
There you go. So basically, she is she acts like AI or like the background people that you would see in a video game. You just see, random stuff. If you ever play like Grand Theft Auto, there's always just random people walking on the street, and if you bump into them and they'd be like, "Shut your damn mouth," they just say a whole bunch of random stuff. Anyway, this young lady gets paid to say a bunch of random stuff.
And she gets paid handsomely.
She gets paid thousands of dollars every time she streams, like roughly, I think they said $47,000 for like 2-3 hour streams, to where she does nothing but repeat words. So you would, give her $5 for saying, "You make me feel like a cowgirl." So it's like looking at like a robot. It's the weirdest thing.
So I thought it was like you just send emojis and she says what the emojis are.
Well, I guess that'd be the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So people get off on paying this woman thousands of dollars just for her to do whatever the hell it is. And obviously it's caught on because, women were doing like OnlyFans, or I won't say just women, but, people were just doing OnlyFans and it was generating a lot of money. But they realized now, I don't necessarily have to engage in all the adult activities in order to make a lot of money. So it's kind of just like a new side hustle. So look up Pinky Doll. It's the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen in my life. But, I mean, more power to her if she's going to...
I'm like, good for her to get paid for... She also pops popcorn in a flat iron while she does this.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. But, I mean, if you can make $7,000 doing that, I mean, nobody's getting hurt. You're not compromising your morals.
Because I know ain't nobody going to watch me do that bullshit for hours. Pop popcorn and...
Coconut. Ice cream good.
Yeah, don't do that. Might have to set you up an account.
Oh, the internet. Okay. We recently watched They Cloned Tyrone on Netflix. So a lot of people have been talking about it on the internet and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of interesting because maybe even under a rock, but Jamie Foxx had a medical emergency a few months back. I want to say in April or March, and nobody knew what it was, what happened to him. And he was being very quiet about it. So then all the speculation started happening about what happened? He had a stroke. He had an aneurysm. He got cloned. Like all these things. And I was like, is it because he just did this movie called They Cloned Tyrone? Like, where did that come from? And why would we clone Jamie Foxx? Like, out of all the people.
It comes for the simple fact that.
In the world. And you can't clone an adult with the technology that we have right now.
Do we know that though?
I don't know.
Do we work in the...
I don't. I am not certified in anything to say if that is a fact.
But that's
or
kind
not.
of that is one of them conspiracies. Every time something happens to somebody and then they come back, acting a little different, that they obviously got cloned. Like I was telling you, Gucci Mane. Mm-hmm. You remember how Gucci Mane was? Like he was a wild boy, right? He got caught up. He ended up, having to sit down for a couple years. He gets out, and then like my man is a 6-pack. He's got some new teeth, brand new man. He's like a model citizen. And everybody was like, that ain't Gucci. Gucci got cloned. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, why the hell would anybody want to clone Gucci Mane? What benefit is it to humans that we have a brand new Gucci Mane?
I don't know. Maybe it's just part of the prototype. It's the R&D phase.
Is that what it is? The R&D phase. Mm-hmm. That's a good one. They're trying to figure out how this stuff works. Yeah.
Before they,
But they was cloning adults.
Right.
Like boom, they don't have to grow. It's kind of like Demolition Man. Like they just go in. I guess they weren't clones, but they go in and then all of a sudden they open up the little freezer casket or whatever, and then you got a new person.
Well, remember that show we were watching? That was Paul Rudd and Tom Brady was in there. He'd been cloned like 5 times.
What's the name of that damn show?
I don't know. It was good, but they canceled it. So we watched They Cloned Tyrone. I felt like it was kind of perfect timing. Jamie Foxx finally, that's what I was getting at. Jamie Foxx came out and gave a statement about where he had been and why he had been so quiet. And he is one of the stars of this movie, They Cloned Tyrone. After watching the movie and seeing Jamie Foxx, I don't think that he was cloned.
He looks crazy though, but that's probably just for the fact that he's been sick for all this time.
Yeah, I'm glad to see him back. But the movie, what are your thoughts?
Overall, man, I think it was a good movie. It was different. Mm-hmm. It was different. It was, I like to watch a lot of like horror movies and thrillers and stuff like that. So like if you just look at it from a surface level, it just seemed like a body snatchers movie. You know what I mean? Like they was going into the hood and they was cloning folks and replacing them, and they were trying to figure out like they say in the movie, it was some Scooby-Doo shit. Like you're trying to figure out what is going on with the people within the neighborhood. And if you look at it just from an entertainment perspective, like I liked it a lot. Like that is something that I'd probably watch that movie again. It's just it's a wild movie because like the landscape, like you're trying to figure out like what year this is. Mm-hmm. Like they're playing all this 1970, like spoilers, y'all. Like they're playing all this.
Spoil it.
The soundtrack is older than what the movie actually looks like. Like it looks real modern. The language is modern, but other than that, it seems like it could be placed in a different decade.
I just had a thought.
Okay.
About that. Like either number one, is it trying to say this? So if you go to the second layer of the movie.
Second layer.
This has been happening for all of this time. Like it's spanning, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
I see that.
Or because they were, so it's not a spoiler that there were clones.
Yeah.
Had they just been cloning people that long, that some of them were just stuck in that time. That's why some people looked like they did. We definitely have to watch it again.
Right. And I like the fact that, because we kept making jokes with each other about it, being similar to movies like Black Dynamite. It definitely had a blaxploitation feel to it. There is a part, and I noticed. Remember we were talking about like they drink beer in the movie, right? They're drinking 40s. Somebody's always drinking a 40 in the movie. But this is kind of a spoiler. But if you watch Black Dynamite, whether it be the movie or the cartoon, you'll notice that on one of the walls outside of like the bodega or whatever, there's an Anaconda malt liquor sign. And if you've ever seen Black Dynamite, that was the beer that they used to drink, there. So I kind of paid a little homage. Is homage a word? Or is it homage?
I don't know. It's like niche, homage, homage.
Whatever it is, they gave big ups to Black Dynamite. and how it played that role in the movie.
And I thought there were a lot of nods to other movies, because there were several times where we were like, oh, that's just like such and such. And like at one point we both said like a Last Dragon reference. I don't know how they did it, but I feel like,
I mean, it's just good writing.
yeah.
And old boy, what's his name? John Boyega, UK dude. And he's out here playing, an Atlanta dude. But yeah, he was great in the movie, man. Like the cast was crazy. Where's that young lady from?
She's been in a lot of things. She was in Survivor's Remorse.
That's what it was.
Chirac.
Boom. So John Boyega, Jamie Foxx, Tiana Paris, Kiefer Sutherland is in it. David Allen Greer is in it as well. Yeah, man, it's just a good movie. I suggest that you go ahead and check it out.
I see a lot of people like it. A lot of people don't. I feel like if you like the show Atlanta, you will like this type of movie. If you liked Get Out, you will like this type of movie, I think. If you didn't really care for Get Out, or you're not really feeling, I don't say you don't understand Atlanta, but if you just are not feeling it, I don't know if you would like.
I think they would like this movie more than Get Out. Like Get Out was a great movie, and it was deep, but at the same time it was quiet, and parts of it were slow, which requires you to think a little bit too much. You know what I mean? And it has like those Easter eggs in the movie where you're like, you may have to watch this movie twice. Whereas this movie, there may be some things that you miss, but the entertainment aspect of it, like you can just watch the movie and you'll be straight. But then if you go back and watch it again, you'll be like, oh snap! You start picking up on all the the other things. So
yeah,
Rotten Tomatoes scored it pretty high. We're looking at 92%. 92% tomato meter, and the audience score is perfect. 100% of folks said that they dug that movie, and I was surprised because this was a Netflix movie, right? Netflix I think has been putting out some pretty dope stuff, but outside of Black Mirror, I think Love, Death, and Robots, and some of the other sci-fi movies that they sci-fi series that they have, sometimes it's kind of hit or miss. Where this one they promoted it right and they kind of banged this one out, so definitely a plus.
I agree.
2 thumbs up.
So I have one more thing. I like to cook, and so most of the time I do the cooking. I'll say like 75% of the cooking when we cook. And then sometimes I just don't cook. It's brought to my attention that I like
out
appetizer foods, and I do. I like a good hot appetizer hors d'oeuvre type of
nobody wants that
thing, and he brought that to my attention. Like, these are not meals. These are heavy hors d'oeuvres.
And trust me, I'm not one of them dudes that is like, you better make sure that you have steak and potatoes for me every night when I come home. It's not even like that. It's the fact that, like, I'd be even cool with a sandwich. Like just a regular ass sandwich. Like, I'd be good with that. But sometimes she'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go get dinner ready. And I'm like, cool. And then I come out and there's like these weird ass Brazilian, I don't even know what these things are. Like, I guess they're appetizers, and it was like green and they had meat in them or something like that. But every once in a while she'd be like, here's 3 French fries, a chicken meatball, and a cheese puff. I don't want that shit. And I'll be like, you know what? I'm just gonna eat cereal for dinner. Like, do you? I'll sit at the table with you, but nah, I'm not eating that. You know what I mean? I'm not a picky dude, but sometimes I'm like, stop it.
You're not picky. You are. Like, if I don't want to cook, you're like, that's fine. But this week, I feel like I've kind of been on my cooking, and I made something that I thought was like very elevated.
What is this?
Not like super elevated, but I thought it was a pretty plate. And
let me know.
He was like,
what the hell is this?
Like, so we sit down to eat, and I'm watching, and I'm like, is he smiling? Is he what? He's very hard to read. Everything is cool. But I'm like, is it good cool? Is it like bad cool? Like, cool, don't make this again. Cool, I would eat it again. I don't know. Cool means like 50 different things. And I made artichokes. He's like, why do you keep making these? Like, what is the point of eating these artichokes?
For anybody who's ever eaten an artichoke, you're kind of like, why? I feel like this is prisoner food.
Or you love artichokes like I do.
Nobody loves artichokes.
They do.
You don't even love artichokes. There's no way that you love artichokes because there is nothing to love, because there's nothing to eat on them. There's nothing to eat. Like I said, I compared them to like crawfish. At least you can season a crawfish, right? And you have to go through all that work just for that little piece of meat. But at the same time, when you eat an artichoke, all you're doing is scraping your teeth against this dirty leaf that tastes like nothing. You can season it for days and it tastes like nothing. So let me tell you something.
No, the roasted ones are good. These ones, I can see how you would say that, but I had the sauce to go with them.
Y'all, Google artichoke and see what it looks like and tell me if that's something that you want to eat. And then like look at the inside of an artichoke and be like, but what am I supposed to eat? Other than eating the leaves and dying, there's nothing for you to leave. A cabbage, you can eat the leaf. Spinach, you can eat the leaf. Anything else, trees, you can go outside. You can eat the leaves off the tree. But an artichoke, you can't eat those. It's like the armadillo of vegetables. You can't, there's nothing to eat. So it's absolute, so boom. So let me rewind this, right? When we were dating, right? You know, this is before I could figure out, you know, whether she could cook or whatever, because, you know, we were doing long distance. And most of the time, you know, when we were together, you know, obviously we're eating in restaurants and stuff like that. You know, I finally go to the house, she cooks some food, and boom, she brings the plate. And it was like an artichoke with, I don't know what the hell was on it.
No, it was like a chicken and artichoke dish.
And let me tell you something.
It had artichoke hearts in it.
Artichoke hearts with chicken and like this weird gravy. And, you know, I've told her this many times before. It was one of the nastiest things that I've ever had. And I've had some pretty nasty things in my life, but I would never want to put that in my mouth ever again, right? So fast forward, and she's still making artichokes. And I'm just like the fact that you added chicken to an artichoke and it was gross, and now you just want to serve me the artichoke by itself? No, ma'am. When you say that cool means a lot of things, I don't know if I would necessarily want to eat that version. But if you are a fan of artichoke, and then the artichoke heart. I was like, so what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
That's the best part.
And then she scooped out these dandelion looking guts. You know what a dandelion looks like after you blow off all the little fuzzies? Whatever that is, that's what the inside of an artichoke looks like. And I'm supposed to eat that? No, I'm straight. But she dug it out, and you know, when she ate it, I will pass on artichokes.
That's the best part.
Artichoke dip, that stuff's good.
It's the same thing.
Or maybe I'm thinking of spinach dip.
And artichoke dip.
Yeah, that stuff is good. Let us know your favorite way to prepare artichokes. I'm all for it.
So I'm just going on record as adding that to the list of foods that I have to eat alone.
But
artichokes, hearts of palm, beets, and Alfredo.
Yeah, no, I don't do Alfredo, but it seems like a lot of women these days are all about the Alfredo. Teach my son, don't date women who cook Alfredo. Stay away from the Alfredo warriors. We're not going to do that in 2023 or any years after that.
Well, that's it. You do the end part, because I forget what you say. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Threads.
She pretty much already did that. So now it's time for us to say goodbye. Thank you very much for tuning into another episode of The Drinking Partners, man. We are everywhere you want us to be. All over your favorite streaming platforms. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram, our Whack TikTok page, and a whole lot more. So with that said, peace.
We out.
Right.
Thanks for tuning in to Love, Life and Liquor. Make sure to like, subscribe and follow on all platforms. And be sure to tell the mandem about us.